What do we have here? I've seen this making the rounds, this image in particular, saying if Kamala were president, we'd be at brunch. And overall, the perspective of this lefty here, I do, broadly speaking, agree with it. So libs will show up to protest unironically, holding signs like this, and never understand why they lose or why the left hates them. I don't broadly disagree with this, right? This sort of like incredibly snooty fucking attitude that's catalyzed here to sort of be like, yeah, I got up, did my politics for the after like 4 years, and then just went back and did nothing. Very, very fucking annoying. When in reality, politics is a everyday fucking affair if we're talking about fighting and organizing for the rights of people. The problem that I have, honestly, with this fucking perspective is that, unfortunately, in terms of numbers, liberals, unfortunately, dwarf that of leftists. Leftists, not a lot of fucking lefties. Which is why, again, I overall pointed to the sort of disapproval rating that the Democrats currently fucking have for the Democratic establishment and for the Democratic Party, broadly speaking. This is an opportunity to potentially bring more people to your side. Because let's be honest here, okay? If we think of our, like, sort of average, normie Democrat, I would imagine someone who's broadly, like, socially progressive and probably doesn't have like a sort of like nitty gritty sort of like idea for like as to how like political economy works, how the broader sort of like economy works. They have like maybe some ideas of it, but they're not 100% like very well educated for it. That is an opportunity there in terms of, well, radicalization potential. Now we could talk about and quibble about the sort of like, oh man, the reason why you talk with people is to fucking heck in a Reno, get them radicalized for a particular thing, blah, 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 blah. You have to be very strategic and careful in the sort of like propaganda, the broader agitprop that you sort of engage with here. Because again, you're very open to sort of inviting backlash like this. So leftists will spend all of their time bitching on Twitter while liberals actually organize and show up to protests. Okay. This person is correct with this perspective. The problem is that it's numbers. It's not about the organizational ability of liberal organizations. It's not what it is. The thing is that liberals have more resources and have significantly more sort of support to be able to have more time to be able to organize and to protest. Also, they have numbers on their side. Which is why I was mentioning earlier, if we're talking about our sort of average normie Democrat, it's going to be a person who is, broadly speaking, very, like, socially progressive, maybe, like, more, like, has, like, a better understanding of, like, economy, kind of, sort of, but doesn't, like, have, like, a sort of, like, nitty-gritty understanding of it. But, broadly speaking, it's a person who has, like, a sort of an idea about, like, gay people actually are kind of cool. I don't really have a problem with them, and it's bad to be kind of racist, kind of a deal. That's how I imagine your sort of average normie, sort of progressive, like, liberal type, to be honest. Like, yeah, like, that's a good point, Alex. Like, someone who knows what a tariff is, right? Like, they're capable of engaging with reality and a bit more critical thinking ability in comparison to the Republicans who are, well, lumpen proletariat. Like, let's be honest here, a bunch of them are just lumpen or the bourgeoisie. Like, let's keep it $1.50 here, right? So that's why we sometimes win the White House while they can't win a city council race. Again, the numbers, simply put, are not there. Boy Meets Mini, this is where you come in. Who are the main people organizing the current fucking protests within LA? Do you know? This is very important. Let's not pay attention to Hammer and Sickle and fucking bio. I don't particularly care about this. Like, this person's profile picture has, like, it's AOC's face on fucking Che Guevara, okay? Like, this person might not be a complete fucking dumbass, but whatever. Who are the main people that are organizing these protests? Is there any particular organization that we know about? It's not DSA, it's mostly Hispanic community orgs, ACLU, and Move On. So the American Civil Liberties Union, I would broadly saying, pretty overall sort of progressive, sort of, yeah, like, sort of like a progressive, like liberal progressive organization that holds like civil liberties and everything. I don't know who Move On is. Let's move on. People Powered Progress. Progressive public policy advocacy group. These are the more of the people that are going to. So lib progressive. So again, like I've been saying, both people are kind of wrong in terms of these perspectives. There are things they're correct about, but things that they're wrong in. I think the liberals are more wrong about this. The thing is with liberals is that, well, again, liberals are higher fucking numbered and have way more fucking institutional power. So if we're talking about lefties who don't have that and are smaller number, like you've been saying, Boy Meets Mini, the DSA does co-organize with Move On and the ACLU because, again, just small fucking numbers. Just no fucking numbers. And that's a very good point there, Boy Meets Mini. Leftists need to understand where the Overton window is for the majority of disaffected Americans. That's a very, very good point. And the thing is like... The thing is like... liberal, like lefties, broadly speaking, I think they know this, but they don't know what to do with this information. Again, I've been saying this before about the Democrats' current party approval rating. This is an opportunity. It's very low right now. 58% unfavorable. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. This is an opportunity to help radicalize and push people further to the left. Talk about the ineffectiveness of the current structure of the Democratic Party. The problem is that, unfortunately, like the dumbass fucking liberals say, is that a lot of these motherfuckers are going to spend way more time doing pointless shit, like complaining on Twitter, doing fucking book club readings, and, I don't know, doing mutual aid and shit like that. Not that those are necessarily, like, the big, like, the worst things to fucking do, but if we're talking about catalyzing a potential cultural political movement, well, the liberals are correct there. If they simply just, like complaining on Twitter, having they fucking book club readings of they Marxist-Leninist fucking readers and thoughts, and again, the most of the people that overall sort of like complain about this do tend to be MLs. They tend to be, not always MLs. A lot of the times it tends to be like very annoyed sort of like lefties and shit like that. Annoyed for good reasons, mind you, because liberal ineffectiveness is incredibly fucking annoying. Very, very pathetic, petulant fucking bullshit constantly. The problem is that you don't have the fucking numbers. You need more numbers. When was probably the highest concentration of, broadly speaking, people who were more left-leaning? I would argue it was probably during 2016, 2017, especially during the time of, a lot of the successes of BreadTube. A lot more fucking people were more open to identifying as progressive, democratic socialist, some flavor brand of fucking socialist. And unfortunately, that sort of cultural momentum got stopped. It went nowhere. Nothing fucking happened. Because no one was able to sort of catalyze that movement into something that's real and tangible. Also, the DNC actively helped to snub that cultural sort of shift and movement. And what did fucking lefties do instead of learning and understanding that? They became nihilists. They became shut-ins. They stopped being effective in terms of the culture. They gave up. and let the fucking neoliberals take the reins and essentially drive the cart off of the fucking road. And now the fascists are in power. That's the fucking problem here. Like I said before, this is an opportunity right here. Big opportunity. If we want to catalyze the left movement, broadly speaking, we all fucking acknowledge right now that it's not cool and it's not good to be a Democrat. This can be used to your advantage. You want to help radicalize more people further and further to the left. This is how you do it. Because it's even among Democrats. Look what even happened here. Right here. January 27th. Or 2017. The Democrats are underwater in terms of approval rating because of how ineffective they have been within Congress. What was happening here? Specifically speaking. Whoa. Crazy. This was when it was culturally effective and popular to be on the left. Quite literally. And then, obviously, that momentum went nowhere. People started gaining approval of the Democrats. A lot more people were happy in terms of being openly identifying as liberals. Quite literally. The cultural momentum stopped. It went nowhere. And would you look at that? It's starting to fucking happen again. Same movement. This is a strategic opportunity of grand fucking importance. This is a huge opportunity in order to help catalyze a significant cultural shift within the Democratic Party to show how ineffective that these movements are. I agree that this is fucking annoying and stupid that liberals tend to do this, and it's a very good reason for as to why the left hates them. However, if the left simply just shows up to them, talks about how much they fucking hate liberalism, which is the basis of leftism, of course, but whatever. Unfortunately, a lot of people have seemingly fucking forgotten about, like, basic philosophical rigor, but that's besides the fucking point. This, right here, is a fucking opportunity. We all remember a lot of the fucking goddamn opinion polling. We remembered a lot of the fucking goddamn opinion polling saying that, hey, crazy, you know what? It's an opportunity here for us to essentially, well, you know, do something here. That's what it is. But, you know, like independents really fucking hate the Democrats. Of course, who cares about the fucking Republicans? But broadly speaking, we know. We know. The gap is fucking shifting more and more so, right? If we're talking about, like, I don't know, hardcore like Democratic stooges, right? Because honestly, the people who approve of the Democrats, even then it's like dipping a little bit. These are like hardcore fucking like liberal Democratic fucking shills. You're never gonna fucking reach these people. The people that you can get to are these. Broader sort of like liberal fucking progressives. Because that's who I would say the broader independent is. These are people that are very, very easy to get. Right? People who, you know, are not really like jiving with the fucking Democrats, but broadly speaking are some flavor of like liberal progressive, but they're like, you know, whatever, I don't really care about like participating within civic systems. There's an opportunity that can be catalyzed here. Very, very fucking important. Especially with like a lot of these fucking goddamn independents. Like what? It was a Quinnipiac poll, right? It was a Quinnipiac poll of the approval of the Democrats. Its approval of Democrats in Congress ticks upward. New poll. 70% of participants said they disapprove of how Democrats are handling their jobs in Congress, while 21% approve. Among Democrats, 53% disapprove, and 41% approve. Now, this is only one fucking poll, but this is a fucking trend. This is an opportunity that cannot be wasted. Quite literally. This can be taken advantage of. And I would highly suggest for people to take advantage of this. So don't bother going with, like, I don't know, the sort of like liberal apparatchiks. Like, this person's a fucking liberal apparatchik. Fucking soys out for Joe Biden in the year of our Lord 2025. This person's worthless. There's nothing to glean from here. This person's a moron, even though, like, this point is technically speaking correct, but the only reason why liberals are actually able to organize is because of the fact that, well, there's a lot more of them and they have institutional backing, which means they have funding in order to be able to do that. In terms of, like, sudden organizational ability, it's the left that is significantly fucking better at doing that, catalyzing particular movements. Again, but the problem is that the left very often, well, is not very good at seizing particular strategic initiative, and also is very small peanuts in comparison to average sort of like progressive, normie, liberal, like, Democrats. And unfortunately, the Democrats know how to essentially keep those guys in line, more or less. However, that's starting to change. It's going to start to change. More and more so with, like, Chuck Schumer continuing to say, like, we're going to do nothing and let the Israelis bomb Iran and stuff like that. It's going to change more and more so. There's an opportunity here. Simply just, throwing out liberals, I don't think it's not going to be fucking effective. It's not going to fucking work. More and more so, liberals are going to have the fucking sort of attitude of saying, like, man, and I think it's happening. It's happening. Man, fuck the Democrats. These guys are worthless. They're never going to do anything. They're pathetic, petulant fucking losers. That is a radicalization opportunity. That is a way forward for the left to be able to, again, catalyze a movement significantly in terms of culture in order to be able to, stake a claim, create a beachhead, and start pushing forward and, radicalize more people into a more equitable sort of, solution. And yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it's like you're saying, Boy Meets Minion. Of course, it's taken time. I think people weren't ready in 2016 or 2020, broadly speaking. But the problem is that you have to be able to adapt on a fucking dime. You have to be able to seize initiative, understand the wins, quite literally. Because again, you can't be ready for stuff like this. Cultural shifts like this, potential for cultural shifts, are a flash in the pan. And you have to be always prepared and ready to be able to take advantage. Quite literally. And very often, I see a lot of lefties not being able to do that. They're too rooted within their own dogmatic perspectives. Very, very fucking often. This is an opportunity to help catalyze people into movements against the Democratic Party. Quite literally. To overall bring the culture more progressive, to significantly pull the Overton window more and more to the left in comparison to the far-right dreck shithole that it currently is right now. Like I've said before, if we want to be successful, strategic initiative at all costs must be seized. And I really do think that is the most important factor here. So I understand the frustrations here. This is frustrating. I agree. Some fucking stupid bullshit. However, if we probably dig into what these people believe, are they actually going to be overall sort of, Democratic Party line stooges? Maybe. Probably not. Most people are not going to be. The vibe of the Democrats is off. It's bad. And generally speaking, most of those people are going to be fucking liberals. A bunch of them are going to be, like, dumb fuck conservatives. But honestly, like, I think those people are, like more, like, less of a factor. I'll be quite honest. They're not going to be at protests like the ones that are here. It's going to be liberal progressives. People who are disaffected with the political system. So, those are people that you can get very, very fucking easily. Again, like, this person is just, like, they're correct in terms of, like, the actual material reality, I suppose, but in terms of the substance, completely fucking wrong. It's very stupid and fucking dumb. But hey, I'm not really expecting anyone who's still unironically hashtag Team Joe in the year of our Lord 2025. But I hope it's, broadly speaking, understood what I'm saying here. This is a strategic opportunity in order to be able to, well, seize strategic initiative, seize cultural initiative, and to be able to help catalyze a movement forward, something that can be tangibly and, well, obtained in terms of pushing the Overton window or pulling the Overton window significantly back to the left. After the Democrats completely, well, fucking squandered it with Joe Biden being in office for, well, the 4 years that he was in office, allowing the Overton window to be significantly ratcheted over to the right. There's an opportunity here, and it's important for people to understand that it can be very easily seized upon. Very important.